Hello YouTube fans, it's Dr. Matthew Johnson. It is Monday morning, August 24th, 2020 at 10:13 a.m. in the morning. We're here today to share testimonials from what happened last night, what people saw, heard, experienced, and you're going to hear some awesome testimonials, so let's get going. Thank you very much. So let's start off with...
I am Lindsay and I'm from Spokane. And this is my second time here. We came last month and I was with my family, and I'm here by myself, well, with my sister and my brother-in-law. And I actually wanted to share some things that I take notes. I'm sorry. It's just what I do. I'm a teacher. So otherwise I'll forget because there's so many things. I didn't actually share my testimonial for Saturday night because I had to go lay down because I had a migraine. So, but things that happened really quick for that was I just saw a lot of sparkles on that night and lined energy signatures. And then my sister, Suzanne, and I went down with Joel about 1:30, I think, after the night sit down to the pond again, and lots of white lights again down there. And I didn't actually have that energy around my fingers until last night. I was thinking I was going to have that because some other people had that earlier, but I didn't have that until last night. So that was for Saturday night. Oh, and flashes of light, like a floodlight coming up behind the trees, except they were red. So it wasn't like a flashlight kind of thing. It was red. So as for yesterday, my sister and I went down to the pond again during the day. And I wasn't actually expecting anything to be happening during the day at all. So we were sitting there, just the two of us, and we heard vocals so if you're the pond, vocals were over in that area, and we heard a female vocal. It was not coyotes. It was a very distinct difference. I have coyotes that I hear around our house, and so does my sister, but this was a female distinct vocal, and then there were male vocals that were, I can't even describe them, but it seemed like they were a group together, and I imagined that they were like working together. That's the best I can feel that was happening. So, and there was another point when we were down by the pond that I heard, like it seemed like bark was being pulled off a tree. That's the best I can explain, and it was down past the wetlands, in the forest down past the wetlands. So during the day yesterday, my sister went back up, and other people went back up while they were eating dinner. I have food allergies, so I do a totally different thing in my life. So I stayed down there and sang for about 2 hours, and sang opera down there, which it's really interesting because there was some interesting stuff that happened in the evening, and I'm wondering, whoever had that experience with opera in the evening, I'm really curious about that because I was down there just singing my heart out to the forest past the wetlands. And I was singing opera, then I was singing hymns, and then I was singing some Greatest Showman,
But that was during the daylight.
That was during the day.
Yes.
So
not at night.
Yeah, no, not at night.
Okay.
It was during dinner time. So whoever had that experience later, I'm really curious about that more in detail. So then in the night sitting by the bushes at the 9 o'clock position, and I was seeing swirling energy, purple energy, lined energy signatures, and I put my hand out, and I was able to put it out longer this time than I did the last time, and just really watch that. It was swirling energy around my fingers. On one of my fingertips, one white flicker did kind of pop off of it, but it was just kind of swirling, like I imagine like a little kid kind of like looking at it, like just, that's the best I can express with that. But I did that for a really long time, just to watch that. It was pretty amazing. And okay, my sister and I, after the night sit, we debated about going down way deep in the middle of the forest, and we did about 1:30, I don't know, somewhere around 1:30. And we heard lots of vocals. We also played Sound of Music songs like Do Re Mi and A Lonely Goat Herd. And so I see a lot of stuff. My sister feels stuff, so you'll hear her testimonial. But I saw just sparkles. When we were playing Sound of Music, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then I also saw one like purple energy. There was a tree in front of us. We were totally in the middle of the forest, totally dark. One, behind this tree, there was a little purple energy figure, and it kind of peeked out. And it was during the Sound of Music, and then peeked back in, or behind the tree. And that happened 2 different times, and I can't remember when it happened on the second one. My sister, I brought some books because I'm a teacher, and she read an alphabet book, a spiritual alphabet book, and there were lights showing there too. And I'll stop there, and if I come up with anything, I might say something at the end.
Thank you, Lindsay. Okay. Hi.
Hi, I'm Tony from Bellingham, Washington, and 3 days ago, Friday, I was out on the 3 o'clock trail in the afternoon doing some trail trimming, and finished up for that session and starting to walk up the trail where the steep part ends and it levels off at the end of that new section. And I turned around to have a glance back to make sure I didn't forget something, and I saw a first visual of being going across the trail. The trail is about 7 to 8 feet wide at that point, about the size of Oma, maybe 3 feet tall, but very wide, a being upright, bipedal being, just scurry across for about a second in duration. And gray, white, and brown colors, kind of vertical stripes. And that was pretty cool. And then last night, before the night sit, Charmaine and I were at the wood pile. It was not quite dark, so we were maybe half hour before the night sit started. I was reading John chapter 20, I think, to the Xanue, and then finished, put my Kindle phone away, and then I was just reaching out my hand, asking for touch my hand. And then Charmaine will continue that.
Okay.
She had a continuation of that story there.
Thank you. Hi, who are you?
Hi, my name is Charmaine. This is my second time here, and Tony brought me here. We are from Bellingham. The one that he's talking about, that was before the night sit, like 30 minutes before the night sit, that he was talking about, like, he want to feel them or see them, but later on suddenly somebody's whisper in my ears, because it's it's too early, and he had just wait and be patient. That's what I hear, the whisper in my ears. It's not a speak mine, it's a whisper in my ears. That's why I told him about it.
A person? Is a person there?
No, that person, it's about up in the middle of the night sit. Remember, we came back there,
Yeah.
and stand there and communicate.
No, the first time.
Yeah.
Just to be distinct, it wasn't a person,
Mm-hmm.
but it was what? A Xanue.
Yeah, this is the channel. Yeah.
Yeah, whispered in your ear. Wow.
Yeah. I think
That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's about it.
That's it? Okay. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm from Yelm, Washington. This is my second time here. And last night, I was with Matt, standing waiting for someone to get finished with their trip to the woodpile, and Cindy saw a young being right next to her in line, right in the front row there. And Matt and I walked over, and I saw the head and her eyes going in and out, and it was really cool. I really appreciated the opportunity. It was amazing.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was right there next to me, and not 2.5, 3 feet high. I mean, pretty cool. And then last night when I was in bed after the sessions and everything, and I'd gone to sleep, and I always wear blinders when I go to sleep. Okay, and I'm laying there sleeping in bed, and all of a sudden I hear this long howl or whatever you want to call it, and I wake up and my blinders aren't on, and I'm going, and then I hear another yell, and then I hear somebody in the bushes next to me, and then I hear someone laughing really loudly, and then it was a howl, but it was a laugh. It was it was very, very much like that, and then they were gone, and it took me an hour or so to find the blinders. They were underneath me, where I don't know how they got off because I don't take them off. So
Cool.
that's what I had.
Thank you very, very much. Hello.
Hello, my name is Claire. I'm from Yelm, Washington. This is my first time here. I believe I've had a healing. I injured my knee probably 6 weeks ago. I'm not sure how, but it was very painful and it was difficult to walk. And so I usually had some kind of a helping stick. I refuse to call anything a cane. So I borrowed one of yours when I came here because my daughter threw my stick out of the car, thinking it was the dog's. Anyway, I realized this morning when I got off of I have to roll off of my cot because it's so close to the ground, but I was able to stand right up without any help, and I didn't need the cane walking back and forth to the house. And it took me a trip or two to realize, because sometimes when something happens and you have an improvement, you don't remember the pain. And finally I was like, oh my God, my knee doesn't hurt. I can walk. So it's not 100%, but I would say it's 70 to 80, and I anticipate that it's going to make a full recovery.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
My name's Stu. I'm from Edgewood, Washington. I'm kind of like a repeat offender.
You are.
So, yes, I am. Last night was astounding to say the least. It was. We went down to the wetland after we had our meeting, and we sat down and we started to talk to them, and we started to see orbs in the trees across the wetland. 20, 30, 40, 300, 500, it would just multiply. So I stood up and I introduced myself, and I walked towards them, towards the wetland, held out my hands. My hands almost immediately began to glow. All of a sudden I had little sparks coming off of odd fingers at odd times, and I could feel like a feather touching the ends of my fingers. Just a feather, no electricity or anything. It was just a really light touch. My legs started to get warm. The whole area started to get warm. And we talked to him for a little while, and I turned my hands over, and the same thing. It was almost like I had a little ring of light around my fingernails. Then I started telling them a story about how I got into Bigfooting, and how I met Matt, and how I got here, and how it affected me. And the more I went along with my story, the more they moved in. And I was welcoming them all the time. I'd stop and I'd say, come on in, guys. Don't be shy. Come on in. And you could see images of like teenagers standing in front of the bush that was between me and the wetland, and 3 or 4 rows of little ones in front of that, and a very, very large individual standing off to the left in the back, and another large individual standing to the right. They were very large. absolutely amazing. They would come in, you could hear them coming in, you could see the intensity of all the orbs getting faster, and more volume, more of them. Pretty soon they're on the ground right around me, and people in the chairs, like the other 4 that were with me, were holding out their hands, and their hands were glowing, and they had little orb spark lights coming off of their fingers in random order. The feeling was awesome. When I got done telling my story about how with Matt and Zorth in the book and them guiding me them guiding me back to my faith. The whole place just about came alive. And I asked them for some footsteps because I'd never heard footsteps. And they obliged me with footsteps. And we could hear clear, distinct footsteps coming across through the wetland, up close and far away. And at one time during my story about how I got into Bigfooting and coming up here and meeting Matt and Cynthia, somebody had a pet that was not being quiet or was not behaving. And you could hear a male's voice grumbling out some kind of command, and the coyote was yipping and whining because he was being a little forceful with the coyote to get him to settle down and be quiet. And I never heard that before. And so we went along, and after that, I think Theresa played some music, and we settled back down. I sat back down in the chairs with everyone, and all of a sudden, it was about, 10:30? It's about 10:30. All of a sudden, we hear this really beautiful music of a female Sasquatch or Bigfoot or Xanue singing behind us, between us and the house on the hill, and it couldn't have been more than, 100 feet away. It wasn't very far away, and it sounded like opera. The tone was the melody was extremely nice and smooth and beautiful. The tone, it was just an absolutely fabulous performance. And it lasted probably 30 seconds. And right now, the hair on my arms is standing up again. And I wish I had recorded at the time, because it would blow you away. It sank in emotionally. It was absolutely awesome. So, and then we heard a few tree knocks. And then last night I came up and did talk to Zorth and talk to Cantu and Surya. And when I retired, it was like somebody flipped a light switch. I was out. When I woke up this morning, I heard 4 large birds in the trees, and the only place I hear those birds is while I'm here. And it wasn't really, I don't know what it was, but it was up in the trees. And as soon as I was up and moving around and getting dressed, those 4 birds left, and then all the nature sounds came in. It's like they were watching me. Pretty awesome.
So pretty much what you're trying to say is not a whole lot happened down there last night?
Not a thing. Nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks to... Hi.
Hi, my name is Theresa. I'm from Vancouver, Washington. I'm in agreement with Stu. Nothing happened down at the pond. Actually, at one point during his story, when he stopped for a minute, I could hear off to my left a light voice and a shh, and then he went back, but you could see he was out. You know, he had his hands out. His hands were glowing. Parts of his body would appear and disappear. And you could see just rows upon rows of Xanue in front of us, and just a lot of energy coming in off the wetland. And when we heard the Xanue singing behind us, it felt like she was standing right behind me. The moment she started singing, my hair on my arm and my neck stood up, and I immediately started crying. It was like listening to an angel sing. It's the only way I can describe it. It was the most amazing thing ever. This morning when I woke up, I'm not going to repeat his story because I'm in 100% agreement with what he shared. This morning when I woke up, I've been known as Captain Obvious. I don't do subtlety well. I was laying in my bag on my back, and I had my sleeping bag about here, and I opened my eyes to this right in front of my face. Now I thought maybe this could have dropped down from the tree, but I'd been wiggling around so much, it would have fallen off my bag because my bag is so slick. So there's no way. It was just set right there just before I woke up. So I was left a little bit of a gift this morning. A very obvious.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Scoot a little closer. Okay.
My name is Charmaine. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. First time here, so I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect. Didn't see too much the first night when people were getting hugs from Soraya. I did see people that were in white fading. Like all of a sudden I'd see white and then I wouldn't see any white. And then I'd see white and then I wouldn't see any white. So I got to see that. But yesterday, Deb and I walked down to the wetlands and stayed down there for a while talking and just looking around. And the whole time it was deathly silent. No birds, crickets, nothing. Like no sounds at all. And so it was kind of eerie, but it's like, okay, maybe we are not alone. And walking up the trail back, we did see, and I saw footprints. We saw a couple, one was little, but you could put your fingers in and feel where the toes were. And then another one was larger, and also you could see where the toes were. So that was very, very exciting. And then last night I did hear somewhat of the howling. I heard a howl, so that was very exciting. So it was fun that I got to experience something.
Yay.
So I'm hoping to become more and more involved in it and learn more and hopefully become friends.
We have a repeat offender in the making.
Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, I'm Suzanne from Vancouver, Washington. And let's see, this is my first time here. I shared a little bit yesterday about some of my experiences. And so, like my sister alluded to, we were down in the wetland area yesterday afternoon and definitely heard some both male and female calling. And it was interesting because the female was just right at the beginning, and it was like there was a response then from coyotes because we could hear kind of a combination of both. But the like my sister said as well, I've heard a lot of coyotes around my place, and they're never as high pitched and sing-songy as what I was hearing originally. And then the males were very, it was very low, and definitely not coyotes, but just very low, and it just went on and on for a long time. And that was my experience really during the afternoon. And during the night, we went deeper into the forest and just sat in this location that was just pitch black. It was a little scary for me. I almost didn't want to commit to doing it, but we did it anyway. You know, I hear a lot of people talk about visuals. I'm learning, I guess. I'm not seeing, I'm not in tune visually as much, but that's always been my case as well in life. You know, I'm much more of a feeler, and so I can feel, well, last night I felt a lot of kind of like adrenaline rush almost, and maybe some of it was just out of fear a little bit, but also very calming at the same time. The one thing I did see visually a couple of times, we were kind of devoting our experience to the children, and both of us have children, and we loved our childhood memories, and so we really wanted to bring some children around, and we asked for some footsteps, and we heard little footsteps here and there, probably about 4 different times, just like that kind of a thing. And that was really cool and warming to us. The visual that I did see was just while we were singing, it was a peripheral flashing, which made me turn to the side and look, but there was nothing there at the moment. But that happened a couple of times on my right side. Nothing in my actual front field of vision, but definitely a flashing, which was very strange to me in the middle of a completely dark forest. So cool. That was my visual. And then in the evening, we also heard some of the calls as well. I don't recall any male calls, but definitely female that sing-songy again, and that was very exciting to hear.
Thank you.
I guess I did have.
Yes.
Well, there was one experience where we were singing, we were kind of telling some of our childhood memories. And the interesting thing is I've felt different tapping and things, like not while I'm here, but in other places that are special to me, kind of on the side of my leg here where I have to go, am I running into something? And I did feel some of that on the top of my leg. What was odd to me was that I also had books on my legs. So I couldn't tell if it was a muscle spasm or what, but it was that same kind of pressing that I have felt at other times in my life. So I'm still getting an understanding of what that is, and so.
Awesome. Glad you came. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, I'm Donna from Cottage Grove, Oregon, and I've been here 4 times, but I've had a history with the Xanue for about almost 3 years, and last night was like the accumulation of everything that's ever happened to me. They have helped me, they have healed me. I just went down to the woodpile. I've gone before. I went down there, I wasn't even there that long, and I was encased in the most incredible energy and love. I can't even describe it. It was something that I can't describe it. I still feel it. I'm totally drained, and then I'm energized at the same time. I just went down there and I said, thank you for everything you've done for me. I asked for nothing, and they have encased me in this incredible love. I have never, ever felt this kind of feeling before. Not with my husband, my parents. It was just, it's so godlike. It's just incredible. And you can read about my story, how they have helped me and healed me in the Xanue book, in this book. I have a testimony of Donna Mansfield. But I will never ever forget this. I will never forget this. I went back to the woodpile again and took Charmaine, and I said, don't do that anymore. It was so incredible. I said, I'm here for her, because I was still, I haven't, and I can't, I'm gonna cry. I can't, I think about it, it's just, I will never ever forget that. It'll be with me forever. It's changed me in 5 minutes. Unreal.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
You people out there in YouTube land don't know this, but out of everybody in this room, Donna has known me the longest. We started squatching together almost 20 years ago, shortly after my family's encounter with the Bigfoot on the mountain above the Oregon Caves. So glad you're here.
Come a long way.
Yep. Hello.
I'd argue with that last statement a little bit. A little.
Okay. Since high school, but we knew
There was a big gap in
there
there.
was a big gap, yes, okay.
I'm Cynthia Johnson. I'm here because this is what we do.
My wife.
Yes.
Yes.
Last night was pretty quiet for me. I was dealing with the animals a lot, so I was pretty distracted, but I watched a figure move from the right-hand side of the trail down near the woodpile, kind of at a diagonal up and across the rocks. We've got glow rocks down there. So I could see them being obscured, and then I could see just the outline of the head, nothing else, just kind of a white shape of the head. And then when they became stationary, I kind of lost that visual. And then I was seeing a lot of very, very pale, light white orbs about the size of a bouncy ball. And they were just coming from about the 3 o'clock, again, going up in a diagonal, and then disappearing around the 1 o'clock position. And they were going through, I saw probably about 5 of those.
Oh.
And then lots and lots of red lights. Last night I was seeing more red than I sometimes do. So
Okay.
that was about it for me.
Cool. Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha. Hi, I'm Craig from Port Orchard, Washington,
And really from
and really from Oahu.
yes. I love that place.
So I went down with Stuart, Theresa, and Terry, my wife, to the pond or wetland, and and Brandon, and I'm not able to see what they can see, but I did see when Stuart went up, I just seen a big like a cloud, and as he kind of faded in and out. I heard as if someone dropped a pebble or rock into the water. I was hearing footsteps and tree knocks around the whole time. But you know, you could sense just the presence of quite a number of them. We're surrounded. That was awesome. And that was it for me. Yeah. I was hoping to see more, and it's still, my grace is sufficient for you.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Thank you. Hi.
I'm Carrie from Port Orchard, Craig's wife. And yeah, we went down with Stu down to the wetlands. And yes, there was a lot of action down there. Lots and lots of images. And
Oh, so you could see them.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And well, the white shimmering, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, I saw one walk. Stu was standing in front of us, and I could see one walk by us.
Wow.
Yeah, and all the sounds, and he was telling his story. But at one point, I said, "Oh, can we just be quiet and just to listen?" And we heard that singing, right? And what freaked me out was that we heard like one crying, something like crying, and something was roughing it up, you could almost hear like grunts, yeah, growls, or whatever it was doing, but the one was crying, yelping, like freaking. I'm an an animal lover, so I was like, is he hurting him or, But Stu said they disciplined their pets or whatever, but yeah, but it was awesome. And then we came up to the meadows and they were everywhere too. I mean, this time it was like, wow. We came last summer, but this year it was like just everywhere. They were everywhere. Even like you said, I went up to Syria and that bush is on they were all there. So many of them. But thank you for having us. Mahalo.
Love you guys. Thanks.
Love you.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Hello there.
Hello, I'm Brandon from Ogden, Utah. Last night was very active. I went with the rest of the group and Stu down to the wetlands, and it was kind of starting off just right away with just red sparks, white sparks, red eyes in the trees in every direction, every heights in the trees. We heard very distinct, clear footsteps on several different occasions there. I heard a coyote starting to howl, and it sounded like something was trying to shut it up because it would howl like, and then you'd hear, and so it went quiet. I also heard the angelic voice was just as pretty as could be. For me, it felt like it went straight to my heart. And
Yes.
Just the most pretty sound you could almost hear. And
I'm going to interject something here. While you guys were listening to that pretty angelic sound down there, I don't think it's the same thing because of the way Stu was talking about proximity. This was like right behind you guys, the way you guys were describing it. But we had an angelic voice singing for us up above. Okay, Kate. She went down to the woodpile and sang and pound her drum. You guys weren't hearing drums, right?
We heard
During
it
that?
after. Right
After.
after we heard that.
You heard that after, so it wasn't the same
Yeah,
thing.
so we said, because
Okay.
we were wondering
Well,
if
then
it was
we had
Kate.
2 angelic voices singing last
Yes.
night because Kate was just awesome.
Because it was
Okay,
after.
go ahead.
Yes.
yeah, we heard the voice, and later we went up by the meadow, and it was even more just red, white sparks, orbs moving in and out. They would come between me and somebody I was talking with.
Wow.
And then when I went to bed about 1:30, coyotes started going again, and some of those coyotes didn't sound like coyotes. They sounded like kind of that angelic voice again a bit.
Awesome.
And then I slept great after that.
Awesome. Hope coming back, right?
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm from Bonita, Utah. Let's see. We went up to the meadow. We didn't go down to the wetlands. There were a lot of eyes shine all night long. Then we were sitting there and we had some little ones come up and they were tugging on Wendy's blanket that she had in her hand. And then, let's see what else. Then when everybody went to bed last night, I was kind of staying up and the orbs were everywhere. I mean, and the red eyes and everything. It was just phenomenal. It's just been an amazing experience. I just want to say it's been wonderful to meet all you guys and spend time with you. And thank you, Matt and Cynthia, for letting us into your home. And that's about it.
Okay. Thank you. Hello.
I'm Cheryl from Longview, Washington. Help me, I've been kidnapped. These people are crazy. Okay, just kidding. I would like to say 3 different things if I could. First thing is, once again, thank you so much. Cynthia and Matt are the most wonderful host and hostess. And thank you for Cantu and Syria and all the Xanue that let us be here in your home. Second thing I want to say is that I'm not bragging, but I'm saying this. This is the 9th weekend in a row I've been here.
Wow.
And I say this because it is life-changing. I've had so many experiences, from healings to mind speak to seeing orbs, having my faith grown, just experiencing all these wonderful people. And it's just been absolutely life-changing. And I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to come. I apologize, I'm getting emotional. The third thing I'd like to say is that what I did experience this weekend, I have seen a lot of orb action. I was looking a lot up in the trees, the treetops, not just where we were standing. I mean, it was above us too. And I had gone up to say my thank you to Cantu and Saria, and I held my hands out. And once again, I got the warmth of my hands and the tingling. And I went up to the wood pile again and said my thank you to Zorth and all the other Xanue that were standing there. And once again, I lifted my hands up, and I've got warmth and tingling. And I helped Natacha also, and which was wonderful to help someone. And I went back and sat down, but I was so energized, I ended up getting up out of my chair, and I went back behind everyone and just walked around. And I wanted to say that I wanted to get a hug from my female friend, Flower, and her kids. She has a son, Nikia, and a daughter, Selah. And I went to the back of everyone while it was silent, and I just held out my arms and closed my eyes, and I could see in my mind's eye, she was in front of me, and both her kids had my arms, and she just surrounded me in this love. And she is my local Xanue at home, and she's right there with me. She mind speaks. She has told me things that have helped me that I didn't even think of, and it has just been an experience that is real, and it's wonderful, and it changes your life. And I just want to say thank you to everyone.
Wow, thank you. Now, I didn't bring it up, but you're the one that brought it up about being kidnapped by crazy people. And that leads me to our next guest. Have you ever seen the movie Crazy Asians? Right? Yeah. Here's my favorite Crazy Asian. I love you. Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you.
Yes. Who are you? Where are you from?
My name is Natacha, and I'm originally from Taiwan. I'm Chinese. And I think this place, a lot of mosquitoes love me. They love Chinese food. Chinese food. Everywhere I go, I got a lot of them. They just, I become their favorite meal, I think. So, so that's okay. Anyway, and I came over here, I was spiritually pretty low, because I couldn't come, and I have to go all through everything going through my, my life and in there. And I was very happy I get a chance to come over here. But at first, I've been asking to see what I can get a chance to see on, physically, maybe, I don't know. I want them to touch me like the way they get that, like the way he touches Steve Bachman, giving a shot like that, woo, like a 9-volt in the mouth. I expect him to get that, but I haven't got that, And they touch my brother, and they haven't touched me. So I expect him to get something. But the night before, I didn't see Saria. Last year, no, Saria gave me a lot of experience. I was really happy with that. And this year, I thought they might get through another way. So at the first night, I didn't see her. I don't know, but I saw Cantu. It was very happy in a way. I'm so disappointed. So yesterday in the daylight, so I went out to the field. I walk around the place what Saria is supposed to be present. The minute I walk in, I get all the energy, woo, coming to me, So I couldn't breathe. I had to sit down. So I grab a chair, sit over there. And I sit over there for a while. I sort of like fall asleep, you know, a lot of sun, you know, it's give me a lot of energies. So I went with this Sharon. So when the girls are singing over there, it's very pleasant. So I was really happy. They don't went out to swim me. I said, whoa, that's a lot, you know, me and the energy. I can't handle a lot in energy at one time. So nighttime. So I went back again, you know, on the front of the wood pile. I don't know which side because I thought I wasn't doing right. So I saw Cheryl and I asked, hey Cheryl, can you help me out? You know, because when I went down there, the first time I went to the side place of where Theresa is supposed to be, I didn't see anything. I didn't see her, you know, but I feel the energy. But this energy, I feel like somebody touched me, you know. And I don't really know. When you talk about the touch and hug, you know, you expect to really get a hug, you know, like the kind of hug, you know, on a touch, like really touch. But I don't get that kind of hug, that kind of touch. I don't really know what kind is really mean, is really hug and touch. I try to figure out the degree, you know, the percentage-wise, you know, it's terrible. And anyway, so I didn't get that, so you know, when I turned around, I asked, hey, Cheryl, can you help me out? Show me which way is which, what, you know, how come I'm missing this? And she said, no, Natacha, let me walk you. So she lead me onto the place where Sheree was. She said, you see that? There's 2 spots. One's full Kandu, and one's Syria. You just stood front over them. I said, oh my God, I was stood the wrong direction. I faced the wrong side. No wonder I don't see anything. No, so you don't see anything. So this time when she stirred me, she told me which way to look at. So I was really paying a lot of attention. I started looking. I started feeling my hands getting heavy. I feel like somebody holding me so tight. I feel like I can't move. I tried to jiggle with it. No, but I couldn't feel it. I said, well, maybe they try to hold me, you know. I feel one hand like somebody pressed my hand pretty tight. I said, okay, you know, holding me, you know, I feel that grip, you know. So then I start looking up. I see the big, beautiful face. Oh my God, big eyes, you know. That was Sylvia. This is the first time I ever seen her face.
Wow.
So beautiful. I can't believe it. So pretty. She's not like, you know, I think, no. Because my imagination, the first time I saw my heavy woman, you know, like that, you know. Maybe it looks like a husband or whatever, but no. Beautiful, skinny looking, oh, beautiful face. I look at her, oh my God. I just look at her and say, thank you. Thank you for showing me your face. Thank you, so beautiful. I said, oh my God. I said, you love me? Yeah, I love you too. I love my family, my kids, and everything. And I get a response from her. I feel so good. Oh, thank you. And thank you. Say thank you. And I start getting that kind, you know, the kind of excitement and feeling, you know, stuff. My heart started going there, floating. I told Natacha, come down. Don't get me so excited. Get out of there, you know. I tell myself, come down. It's the time. I better go down, you know. So I say, hey, Cheryl, I'm done. So she said, okay, are you ready? I said, let's go to see her husband. Okay. So then she leave me over there. I tried to run to see her husband now. I went in there. She said, shall I leave you alone? I said, no, come with me. You know, you can stay with me. Doesn't matter. I don't mind you listen to me. Whatever I'm going to say, doesn't matter. You can stay with me. But when I went over there, I took a look at him. He's there. I saw him too. This time, I didn't see another one figure on the face. I see their face. And I tell him, hey, you're not as handsome as I thought you are. You're not that beautiful. And I mean, your wife is really pretty, you know. I tell him. I don't think he's very happy with me. I said, I don't mind if you touch me, you know, I know. But hey, how about your hand?
Is that when he stepped on you?
Well, I don't think he's very happy with me. I don't think so. When I say, give me a comment, he's not that handsome, you know. To me, he wasn't, you know. So, to her, it's very beautiful. But anyway, but that's okay. Well, anyway, I saw 2 people over there, and I just say, hey, if you really like me a lot, come to my dream, you know. When I come home, please help me out. So I said, that's enough for me, you know. I said, I had enough. I don't think he's really happy with me. I'm gonna leave it for next time. Maybe you'll tell me he's happy with me. So, thank you so much.
I love you. Thank
I
you.
love you.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. My name is Susan, and I live in Yelm, Washington. And I'll start out with the end of the story, which was my very dear friend Robert Quinn of 45 years. I knew Robert. He passed over 2 years ago, and last night here at Camp Xanue, he manifested at the woodpile with Zorth and the Xanue here at the camp. And there's a little backstory. I've known Robert for 45 years. We went through different spiritual paths where it was always about the beyond, the interdimensional, the paranormal. And so this was our common denominator all of that time. About 2 years before Robert died, he met Matt and Cynthia and the Xanue and got totally immersed with them and loved them because they were interdimensional, because they were healers, and that was everything that Robert loved. On his deathbed, I spent 7 hours with Robert in the hospital his last day. I brought a picture. Aww. Robert said, I saw Zorth. He said, I saw Zorth, that Zorth had come to the hospital to see him. So the connection was very strong with Robert as he passed over. And a little while after that, about a year after he died, my dear friend Elizabeth, who channels, she's psychic and she channels, she wanted me to practice doing that with her on a Zoom. She lives in Arizona. So we were doing a Zoom reading, and she said, just ask any questions. And so, I love this. So I was asking about Robert, and Robert came through my friend Elizabeth and said that where he is now, that he is learning with a family of Bigfoot, and that he is learning how to become, he loved them so much, he's learning how to become a Bigfoot. And he has a family he lives with. And then he asked me and my friend Elizabeth to do some things to help him here. He asked me to go to a tree and sit at the tree and visualize a rainbow going up the tree and seeing orbs going down the rainbow, for him to be able to get into the tree and go like the Xanue do. So he asked me to do that, and I love doing that. And I actually felt one time when he entered the tree, I felt that he did that. About a week ago, I had another session with my friend Elizabeth through channels, and I had known that I was going to be here this weekend, and I wondered about Robert being here. There was also the time where Robert wanted to introduce Matt at the UFO festival, which Robert came through Elizabeth again one time, and when Robert was here, he very much wanted to get Matt connected with the world, to have the word about the Bigfoot go out. And he got Matt connected to the Triad Theater in Yelm, so that Matt came and spoke there. Also in Los Angeles, Robert got the connection between Matt and people there in LA for him to speak about the genre. So Robert was very much about making connections. And about a week ago, I had another session with my friend Elizabeth in a Zoom, and Robert came through, and he said that he was going to do everything he could to manifest here this weekend, because I was going to be here, and me being here would help pull in his energy here. And he told me to see him here, and he told my friend Elizabeth to go to a tree where she was in Arizona, where she and I visited her in December. She and I went to this tree and brought some of his ashes there. And so he told her to go to that tree to help ground the energy there. And Robert's ashes are also here at Camp Xanue. And so when Robert told me this through the reading, that he was going to manifest here, do everything he could to manifest here, I said, does Matt know that this is happening? And Robert said that Matt is very busy right now. So I said that I would email Matt, and I also asked Robert, is there any other message you'd like to give Matt? And he said, excuse me. Sorry. He just gave so much love and appreciation to Matt for everything Matt's doing. And that the genre wanted to send health and love to Matt. And also that, excuse me, it's just emotional energy. And that, thank you. And that the genre and other beings right now on this planet are trying to help the stress levels of the people here. They're trying to help relieve the stress of the people on the planet because of what's happening. And he also had a message for Joel and Nancy, lots of love, and also gave me some personal information. So when I bought my ticket to be here, my order number for Camp Xanue was order number 505, and Robert's birthday is 5/5, May 5th. So I thought, okay. So I sent the email to Matt, and he replied that he got it. So when I got here, I talked a little bit to Matt about Robert possibly manifesting, and he said that if it's going to happen, that if Robert wants to be here and if Zorth wants it to happen in the Xanue, that it'll happen. And the night before, or last night, we did connect again, Matt and I, and Matt said that he would go down to the woodpile and talk to Zorth about Robert manifesting. And so Matt did, and well, I don't know, Matt wanted to tell this, but...
So I walked down to the woodpile, and to be honest, I'm thinking, this whole stuff is a little out of my league. But I like Susan, and I'm aware of Susan's long-term friendship with Robert, so I'm gonna do this for Susan. And so I went down to the woodpile, and I gave her my word. So I said hello to everybody behind the woodpile, and then I looked at Zorth, who was like really lighting up his face for me to see. I mean, like, that's the best I've ever seen it. And I go, okay, Dad, I need to talk with you about, and before I even got the name Robert out of my mouth, boom, he was there, right in front of my face on the other side of the woodpile. And I'm like, no way, this is like really happening. So I stick my hands out for him to touch, and he touches, and my fingertips are sparkling, and then they're disappearing. And then I go, Robert, show me your face. Show me your face, Robert.
Oh.
And so he lit it up, and that's the face I saw standing in front of me. And it was amazing. I'm just so happy. So I talked with him for a bit because he was Cynthia's and my friend too, and went with me to Soya several times. And so anyway, after I had my turn, then I called out for Susan to come down to the woodpile. And I showed her he's right here. It happened, and I left her alone.
And while Matt was still there, I said to Robert and I said to Zorth and to Matt, I thanked them for letting this moment, this pivotal moment happen. And I'm so grateful to each and every one. And then Matt went back up and let me have time with Robert. And you know, I don't see like Matt does, but I feel. That's my superpower. I feel, and I could feel Robert. And but while Matt had been still there, he told me to put my hands out, and that Robert was reaching for my hands. And then I just, you know, expressed so much love with him. And then I also remembered to take that pivotal moment that seems so pivotal to also thank my dear friend Elizabeth, who channels, to thank her. She was an aspect of this connection with Robert manifesting here. And I just love that at Camp Xanue is where connections are made. I mean, that was like an ultimate connection. And when seeming to be drawing a blank.
Q.
Yes.
1 minute.
Q. Robert also expressed this in expressing through, when he was talking to me through Elizabeth, that he wanted to be called Quinn now because his name is Robert Quinn. Most of us know him as Robert, but he wanted to be called Quinn now because of the Q. He loves the Q. And so, you know, that's wonderful. And of course, the next time I talked to him, I called him Robert by mistake, and he said, no, it's okay. It's okay. He loves Robert, but he loves the Q. And he thanked me for walking the earth path with him, and then into the beyond, and which is what he was always excited about, and that's totally my meat and potatoes, is the other side, the interdimensional.
Okay.
And thank you.
Thank you. I can't wait to hear what Jody says about all that.
You should.
Okay, so we're going to wrap things up with, as crazy as that sounds, it really happened. As crazy as all this stuff sounds, it really happens. So Cynthia and I would like to invite you, and you know who you are, to consider coming to Camp Xanue in the summer of 2021. June, July, and August is when we host our camps. If you have yet to get your hands on my first book, Bigfoot, The 50-Year Journey Come Full Circle, I encourage you to do that. When you're done reading this book, you can get your hands on my second book, The Xanue, How I'm Befriending the Bigfoot Forest People. Both these books, and if you scroll down and watch the 4-part video series of The Great Reveal, you'll learn a whole lot more about the Bigfoot Forest People than you ever can learn from any other book or any other YouTube channel. I promise you that. So, never mind the dogs outside killing each other. It happens all the time. Okay, so, did you guys have a fun time?
Yes!
Did you guys learn a lot?
Yes!
Awesome. We're glad you guys were here. Thank you very much for coming. And we'll see you next summer. This is Dr. Johnson signing off.